Number 1. Silence is often a survival response. When a child goes quiet, adults tend to praise them. They say things like, "Oh, they're so well behaved," or "I wish mine were that calm." But here's what gets missed. Many quiet children didn't choose silence because they felt peaceful. They learned it. They learned that speaking up led to punishment, rejection, or being completely ignored. This is a conditioned survival response. And so silence became their safety net. It became the way they protected themselves from disappointment or harm. That kind of quiet isn't contentment. It's a defense mechanism a small person built because their environment taught them that their voice wasn't safe. Number 2. Good behavior can actually be fear-based compliance. A child who obeys without protest, who seems to accept everything an adult says, that might feel like a win. But sometimes, it's not about understanding or emotional regulation. It's about fear. Fear of upsetting the adults around them, fear of rejection or anger. This is known as fear-based compliance. These children comply because they've learned that resistance costs too much. They're not developing autonomy or critical thinking. They're learning self-suppression to avoid conflict. That's survival mode dressed up as good manners. Number 3. Silence hides unmet emotional needs. When a child stops expressing their feelings or needs, adults often breathe a sigh of relief. Finally, no tantrums, no demands. But that silence is usually a sign of emotional withdrawal. It often means the child has concluded that no one will listen, or worse, that no one will help. So they stop asking, they stop crying, they stop reaching out. This is learned helplessness beginning to form. And adults mistake that withdrawal for independence, when really it's resignation. The child has learned that their needs don't matter enough to be voiced. Number 4. Unexpressed emotions don't just disappear, they turn inward. Every human being, especially children, has fundamental psychological needs for connection, validation, safety, and autonomy. When a child stops asking for things and stops expressing discomfort or desire, those needs don't vanish. They go underground. Over time, they turn inward, becoming anxiety, shame, chronic people-pleasing, or emotional numbness. These children often grow into adults who struggle with emotional awareness, who apologize for existing, who can't set boundaries because they never learned their feelings were valid in the first place. The silence that got rewarded in childhood becomes the suffering they carry in adulthood. Number 5. Being easy to manage often means being unseen. And perhaps most heartbreaking of all is this: quiet children are convenient. They don't disrupt classrooms or demand attention, so they slip through the cracks, their struggles invisible because they've learned to suffer quietly. Psychologists call this the good child syndrome, where adaptive behavior prevents a child from getting the support they need. Adults focus on children who act out because those children demand attention. Meanwhile, the silent child sits with their pain, missed by the adults around them who mistake coping for contentment. Being invisible may have kept the child safe once, but it robs them of the chance to be truly known.